Have you missed the spring market, and is it too late to sell your home? Hey, it's Ryan Hodge, broker and owner at the Realty Firm here. Sandra Tavares and I have been selling real estate for nearly 20 years in the London and St. Thomas Association of Realtors. And it's a common question, when is the best time to sell your property? Here's the thing. The general consensus and the number one time that people put their homes on the market is definitely the spring. That's why you always hear about the spring market for real estate agents and real estate brokers. But when you step back and you think about, when is really the best time? It's when you are ready to make a move, because here is what usually happens. When people list their homes in the spring, which is a large portion of people that sell in a year, that means that there is all sorts of inventory and more competition for you as a seller. Now, when you look at that, that doesn't mean that it's going to be that much harder to sell. But you know that in a buyer's market like we're in right now, buyers are more discerning, there's more selection. If there's more inventory, there's going to be more people that are out shopping and looking at more homes. So what does that mean for you? Well, my belief is that people buy and sell real estate all of the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year. And so if you have delayed this year because of the weather, it was a definitely colder winter. So where we would normally see a lot more activity, right after the spring break, right now we're seeing a lot of people that are coming to market earlier, into May, into June. We know that that is going to continue to take place. But people move all the time. I mean, you have people that get transferred for their occupation. You have people that need to downsize, or they perhaps are going through a marital separation and, people's lives change. Maybe somebody loses a job. Maybe somebody gets a new opportunity that is bringing them into the city. And so every step of the way, people sell real estate. Whether they're buying, whether they're selling, real estate trades at all times. So when you look at your plans for this year, what I would encourage you to do is consider, what is the ideal scenario for you? When you think about your own personal property, is it a property that is going to be more appealing for somebody perhaps to get into the property prior to school? Think about that for a second. We know that on average, the average realtor in London is probably 45 to 60 days on the market, maybe a little bit less right now. But in many instances where Sandra and I, list and sell a property, it can be under 30 days. Now, that is a different time frame in terms of the time that the for sale sign goes on your lawn and all the media is out there and it hits the market, to the time that it actually sells firm and binding with a buyer that secures your property. That's a different time period than the 60-day to 90-day closing period, and it can be less, it can be longer, that is actually going to be the time where you move. So you can start to reverse engineer your moving date a little bit and your plans based on your own personal desires. If you think about it for a second, if you wanted to move, let's say, by September 1st, and you know that a lot of people want to close inside of the school year, so that should do it, you're going to look at 60 days prior to that, which would take you to July 1st, 30 to 60 days prior to that in terms of when to get the home on the market. And if you're priced right, if the product is great, your home is great, and you're promoted properly, then you should see, 30 days, probably less with us, maybe a little bit more depending on which route you go. 30 days on the market, 60 to 90 days to close. That's a pretty good time frame to match up to your ideal scenario. Now, you might say, well, I want to try my price a little bit higher, and we always look at that with any of our clients. What's an aggressive price? What's fair market value? And what's a little bit of a test price? And let's face it, many people test the list price of their property because, like all of us, number one, we all think our home's worth usually a little bit more than it actually is, myself included. And number two, We want to see if we can obtain maximum value. So depending on your motivation, if you just want to make sure that you're moving by, let's say, prior to the winter, so October or November 1st, you could start to map that out accordingly as well in terms of when it is best for you to actually list your property on the open market, exposing it to all of the MLS, all of the realtors, all of the general public, that you're going to make them aware that your home is up for sale. Now, you might say, I am not going to be ready until the fall, and I'm really not sure that I want to be selling come wintertime. Well, that's okay. Ultimately, the fall market tends to pick up quite a bit. I've always thought that the last week of August and the first week of September, they're the 2 weeks besides that week of Christmas that are really a little bit slower. People are winding down summer. They're getting ready for back to school. Christmas time, even though I've sold a house on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, that tends to be that 1 week where the activity really slows. But when you have hesitation about selling in the winter, for example, if you're starting to think that way, what's going to happen in the winter? Remember, during that time period, there may not be as many buyers out shopping, but you will have less competition. And you may not have as many buyers looking, but the buyers that are out trudging through the snow and the sleet that we have here in London, Ontario, Canada, they tend to be a much more serious buyer. So there's some key considerations, but ultimately you haven't missed anything. This spring market is an interesting one in London and St. Thomas real estate, but it's one that is yielding some really good results for both buyers and sellers. And I believe that that's going to carry on right through 2026 if you have the right plan, if you're doing the right things, and if you're getting the right professional experience, market, and deep research in terms of the market data that's going to position you properly for a fair sale inside of your neighborhood for your home, and really looking at the steps that you can take to have success. I'm always available to talk about your property, a free market evaluation. There's absolutely no obligation. When might be a good time for you, depending on your personal or family plans? Maybe it's a business decision that you're going to make. I'm happy to have that conversation anytime. You can give me a call at 519-601-1160 or visit us online at www.ryanandsandra.ca. My purpose, as always, is to serve and support homeowners, potential homeowners in London, Ontario, before, during, and after the sale. So don't hesitate to reach out. I'm never too busy to speak about real estate with you. And if you like this content, be sure to like and subscribe to this channel. And we'll talk very soon about my next real estate tip, strategy, tactic to help you get moving and have some great success.